Assalamu alaikum, sisters and brothers. Sulaiman Rahim here, Messenger of the Covenant, breaker of the seven seals. Brothers and sisters, welcome. Let's bring in our audio audience. This is the Black Alert segment of the Fire Zone. No bullshit zone. Stop the bullshit zone. 1 second, brothers and sisters. Brothers and sisters, we're going to talk about God's command. Now, we're in critical times. Some of you are starting to understand that. Some of you start getting nervous about this war over with Russia and Ukraine. So I've been trying to tell those who listen that it's not Armageddon. Don't get nervous, relax. Let the heathen worry. Let the devils, Gog and Magog, worry. But you shouldn't be worrying. But see, you've been given bad information. You've been given bad information. You was turned into Negro butts 400 years ago. It took 64 years to turn you into a Negro butt. And now you're confused. And all you know is what Master's telling you. And it's not good. Because you think your fate is tied to their fate, and it's not. But that's what they've been telling you. Don't you think it's remarkable that they promote every person before you that doesn't talk about the Abrahamic covenant? Anyone talk about Abrahamic covenant, they're dead. Martin Luther King talked about the Promised Land speech. He was dead the next day. Elijah Muhammad is no longer present. Anyone talks about the Abrahamic covenant, right, and starts getting traction, right, they're neutralized. Somehow they're neutralized. See? Because Master doesn't want you to know about that. He wants you to only know about what he's telling you. He don't want to tell you have your own future. You have your own vision. He wants you to accept his vision. So they got all kinds of these distractions all over the place. They got Wallace, a clown. He was a fool. I knew the man. The man was a fool. He was a hypocrite. He hated his father. He badmouthed his father every chance he got. He was a liar. He would come in saying, yeah, I'm with Master Muhammad, and then get into a speaking position and just say the opposite. That makes him a liar. So why would you follow somebody like that? Their conviction, right, only stands until they get what they want. As long as they get what they want. See, they use it to get what they want. So they have no conviction. See, so he said what he needed to say to get the position where he could say what he wanted to say, but he had to lie to get in that position. So why would you want someone like that? Someone that changed their position, right, depending on the situation, in order to achieve something that they want to achieve. And they don't care who gets hurt in the process. Farrakhan's the same way. Farrakhan did exactly the same thing. We have the tapes. We have the tapes, brothers and sisters. I'm not just talking about audio, but video. Him bad-mouthing the messenger, him putting down Master Muhammad. I personally saw him do it when I was present between 70 and 75 in Chicago at Mosque number 2. That's what at Temple number 2. That's what Elijah Muhammad called it. And that's what they did. So they put all these clowns in front. They put the Moors in front of you. They put the what they call Hebrew Israelites, but Farrakhan, the preachers, and the preachers, they're all demons. Farrakhan is demon too. See, their motivations, they got to live off of you. Because once you were freed, because they no longer needed you, they freed you because they no longer needed you, because they moved into the Industrial Revolution, they threw in a ditch. But his children, the house Negroes, they was perplexed. What are we going to do, Master? What are we going to do? See, because no income is coming in, nobody's working the fields anymore. And they benefited just like the puppy dogs did. If the more master had, the more, right, their little demon children got. See? So in other words, the master was eating pork chops, and they might, right, get some ham. Master moved up the steak, they might get some pork chops. See? And as master moved up, they moved up. See, master moved up based on our labor, which was capitalism. Slavery was capitalism. They keep telling you capitalism. And you get these Negroes, well, they're capitalists. Capitalism, slavery was at maximum capitalism. We'll talk about that in a minute. And so, once you was no longer in the field feeding them, giving them profits without any expectation of payment, maximizing their profits, because that's maximization of profits, right? When you get people to work for you, you don't have to pay them for anything. That's slavery. That's the maximum expression of capitalism, where you have zero overhead, no overhead, but maximum profit. See? So, that's the way Master rolled with us, and a lot of you are going along with that. Talking about capitalism, capitalism, capitalism. See? But you understand what you're talking about. See? So the demon has demon children, right? They had nowhere to turn, because now Master was no longer. It's just like Master got a pet dog. Now Master's homeless. He can't feed the dog anymore. So now the dog don't know what to do. He got to go find his own food. And that's what they did with the slave, because the slave niggas, right? They profited because you're in the field. That's why they wanted you to stay in the field. That's why the preacher said, love Master, work hard for Master, right? He tell you, that's encouraging you, because the more hard you work, the more Master would have, the better it would be for them. It wasn't be better for you, because you wasn't going to get any more out of the situation, or you're going to get harder work, or you're going to get more and more work, and they gave you as much as they could give you. See? Because that benefit Master and benefit Master's black-faced children. But once they no longer needed you, because they moved into the agricultural age to the industrial age, they freed you because they no longer needed you. They didn't free you because it was against slavery. That's another story altogether. So therefore, Master said, what are we going to do, Master? What are we going to do? See? Some of the slaves stayed on as sharecroppers. They said, what? But still, it was still the same principle involved. What are we going to do? Master, well, you ain't going to live off of us. We ain't going to just give you. We ain't going to, you can live off of them, meaning us, the slave niggas. You can live off of them, but you ain't going to live off us. And so they threw us in the ditch and threw them right behind us. And that's where it's been ever since. They've been living off us, the preachers. See, because the only thing the preachers offer you is Jesus, primarily after you're dead. But he wants money for now. And they live high and mighty off the money you pay them. And all they do is give you a performance every Sunday. Oh, we doing charity work and everything. Okay, really. See. So if you give them $100,000 a week or whatever, and they give maybe 10% charity, really? So they have nothing to offer you. They don't offer you any vision. These preachers not giving you any vision. And the scripture says clearly, a people without vision perish. But he's preaching not giving any vision. All he tell you is obey master. American dream. That's about as much vision you're going to get is the American dream. They tell you to buy into that. As I tell you, Lion Farrakhan, the same thing. He's telling you to buy into that. You have no vision. You have no alternative. See? All there is just Jesus. But Farrakhan, we say he's the Jesus. So they still offer you the same thing the preachers offer you. Only thing, he said he's the Jesus. You understand? They tell you, you got to look towards to the Jesus. Farrakhan just go a step further. I am the Jesus. That's what they're offering you. He's offering you that. He's not offering you an alternative. He's not offering you anything else. See? And and the preacher's not telling you about the Abrahamic covenant. Farrakhan does mention the first part of it. He can't hardly get around it. But he used to mention it until he got attacked. Now he's in defensive mode because the truth is there, and now people starting to warm up, throw out to the truth. Now he's got to answer questions. And he's got division. I told you months ago, there's division in the eye. And he said in his swine song that there was people in his organization was trying to take him out. And also, Ismail said every chance he get right, all of us ain't on the same page. That's the other indication they got problems. So the government is sponsoring a lot of these different. They said it in their coattail, or what they call it, co-protail. They said it. They said all these to keep you confused, to keep you distracted. So when the truth comes to you, you won't recognize it, right? Or you never find out about it. Because there's so much stuff out there, so much confusion, you can't see it. Because we just tell you what the Bible says. We fulfill the Bible, the message of the covenant, and you can prove everything we say. That's what we do here. That's not what they do. They distort the scriptures. They make up stuff. They lie constantly. See? And they don't understand scriptures anyway. And we can prove that. Because what's happening right now is crystal clear. But they got you wearing these fog glasses and these, that you think the whole world is all foggy, the whole universe. No, it's those glasses you got on. It's that programming that did to you 400 years ago. See? You was completely programmed 400 years ago. It took 64 years to program you. You was completely programmed, right? Turned into a Negro butt. Right? Self-programming. Because now, Negro butts program Negro butts. So you program your children. They don't have this step back and watch you do it. And you have no, and nothing makes, you have no sense of logic, no sense of reasoning. They've taken everything from you. Your humanity, your ability to reason, your ability to think, all of it. Because if you start thinking, it's all over. You can break the program and just start thinking, start asking questions. And you start deprogramming yourself. But you're going to do it, and eventually you're going to have to. You have no choice. Because like I say, when your stomach speaks, it moves your mind. And your stomach going to be speaking in a minute. You already see it. Tell your family's on the way, right? There's food shortages everywhere. Plus the prices are high, so you can't afford it anyway. See? When the stomach speaks, it moves your mind. And Master Muhammad will have your stomach yelling in a minute. Screaming. See? Then you're going to want to listen. See? Because you got a future. But you're going to let them steal it from you. They stole everything else, now they're trying to steal your future from you. They stole everything else, now they're trying to steal your future. Your future is the promised land. It's already, the doors are open. Right? We're giving out tickets, free tickets, but you got to have a ticket. We're getting free tickets, no obligations. You already paid the price. But you can't see these tickets because they tell you, oh man, listen to that stuff. Stay here, help Massa. Why you want to go back to Arabia? So all that sand, they got all kinds of stuff for you, brothers and sisters. That's for you that you can get to the point where you look like you're waking up. See? But what does God say about all of this? See, there's lines. They say Gog is Russia. We can prove all these are lies. They stumble over their own lives. Because just look at what they tell you about chapter 20 of Revelation. They say that's the millennium. Is that what they tell you? That says the future. See? But when Satan and the devil come out of the pit, after 1,000 years being in the pit, who comes out? Gog and Magog. But they're just telling you that this war is about to take place. Gog and Magog is going to be obliterated, gone, destroyed. So they destroy it, then how they going to come out of the pit 1,000 years later? That shows you, right, that that's wrong. Because the only way that can happen, then the millennium has to have not taken place yet, which it hasn't. That's European history. A resurrection, an Islamic resurrection that took and chained the Europeans up in Europe for 1,000 years, so-called Dark Ages. It wasn't for the whole world, it was just to them. And then when they came out, it'd be two world powers, Gog and Magog, the only two, because they covered the whole world. Who the only two European world powers there's ever been that you know about in their whole history? What's the two European world powers? It's only been Britain and America, only two, period. That's Gog and Magog. See? And Gog's getting ready to go against, right? God's getting ready, it's already coming against us, we're true Israel. But they're going to war in the Middle East against Iran and Syria, and they're going to be defeated. But we don't talk about that here, but we're talking about God's command. See, because you've been told one big lie. You've been told one big lie after another. In fact, all you have been told since you got your ass got on the shores of America is lie, 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 lie. You've been told no truth whatsoever, absolutely none, zero. See? There wasn't any truth spoken in America till Master Muhammad showed up, and Elijah Muhammad started taking that truth, right, and start throwing you out. Start throwing you out because you're frozen from the winter. We're a 6,000-year winter, the worst winter in our history. He started throwing you out. And then after 47 years, he departed, and Farrakhan came with his ice-cold blizzard and froze you all over again. So let's go in a couple of things here and see what we have. Okay. Let's see if your eyes open, brothers and sisters. This verse. I mean, every verse I show you is clear, but you're a robot. You've been told not to think. You're a Negro, and so nothing's gonna make any sense to you because, like I said, when Jesus would come, you with clear arguments, but you still would. Because you're a Negro, but you're told not to think. Reject anything, right, except what Master tells you that's okay. Now we're going to touch on this a little bit. When you see Jerusalem surrounded by armies, know that it's desolation, it's destruction is near. When you see Jerusalem being surrounded by armies, who is Jerusalem? Who controls Jerusalem? That's the people that call Israel over there, the Jews. So that means when they're surrounded, their destruction is nigh. But they're not telling you, they say, oh, no. See, they ain't telling you this. That proves that they're false because they cannot be destroyed if they're Abraham's seed. Once they return, they cannot be destroyed. That's part of the covenant. But this tells you they're about to be destroyed. That means they're not Abraham's seed. They're fake. Identity theft. That alone right there should turn you around. When you see Jerusalem surrounded by armies, that's not the Muslims. Israel, the Jews control Jerusalem. It says their capital. So when it's surrounded by armies, it's about its destruction is near. It's going to be destroyed. So that means if it's destroyed, they're not true seed of Abraham. And then it goes first, let those in Judea flee. You need to understand this. You need to understand the angel key to understand some of this, right? And it tells you to get the hell out. Run. Because when false Israel goes down, the calculus is going to change in these minds of the people because they've been told that we're Ham's seed. See, Shem was cursed by Noah, but all his descendants through Ham would be black. That's how he was cursed and perpetual slaves forever. So enslaving us was God's will because we were supposed to be slaves forever. And he identifies because we're black. That's what white folks ask their dads and mom, where did black people come from? And that's what they tell them. No, everybody was white, and they got purse black. That story they tell it. See? But when they found that you the true seed of Abraham, you apple of God's eye, and the falsehood was wrong, the calculus is going to turn immediately. Because now they're not the good people they said they were, because they pressing Abraham's seed. It said those who bless Abraham, Israel will be blessed, those who curse Israel will be cursed. And now they know they curse. They're at war, when this occurs, they're at war, they go simultaneously at war with Russia and in Europe. They're going to be in battle in Europe. European, NATO and everything, UE is going to turn on them. They're going to be so they're going to be all, and that's what true Armageddon. And the 9 plagues are Armageddon. I talk about it in the presentation. You're going to look it up. See, those are 9 plagues are going to have to cause them to finally drive us out of here. When they say drive you out, what do you mean drive you out? That means under fear of death, destruction. That's why I say flee. But they're going to be chasing you, driving you out of here. Those of you that can get through a drive, if you're in neutral, you're dead. That's what it says, we'll drive you out. See? That's how they're going to drive us out. Trying to kill us. Try to wipe us out when false Israel goes down and they realize that we're true to Abraham. See? So it said, they will fall by a sword, will be taken as prisoners to all the nations. Jerusalem will be trampled. Listen to this carefully. Jerusalem will be trampled on by the Gentiles until the time of Gentiles are fulfilled. Now, you know what a Gentile is, brother and sister? This stuff is so perfectly clear. Do you know what a Gentile is? A Gentile is everybody other than Jews. Gentiles are everybody other than Jews. If you're not Jewish, you're a Gentile. So it says the Gentiles, they were trampled down by Gentiles. So if you got 2 categories, the Gentiles and non-Gentiles, the Jews are the non-Gentiles, and the Gentiles, you only got 2 categories, and Gentiles are trampling down, right? The non-Gentiles, they're trampling down the Jews. That further underlines what I just said. It's the Jews that's being eliminated. They're the ones being destroyed. False Israel. And when that happens, that's going to be a shockwave to the world. That's not supposed to happen. And they're going to realize that we're true to Abraham, that they've been oppressed and everything, that God's coming to get them. You better read it again, brothers and sisters. Let's go to the next one. Okay, here. Judgment. Now, we're talking about God's command. Let's read this. After these, I saw other angels step. This is the transliterate version. That's why it reads kind of quirky. See, it's not the King James. King James is the interpretive version, because they thought what the verse meant, and they wrote that down. And it was all wrong, because they never knew what the verse meant to begin with. They thought they did. But this doesn't do that. All it does is just transfer one word to another. So when you go from one language to another like that, some languages are quirky, because they have different ways of saying things. After these, I saw other angels stepping down out of heaven, having authority great, and earth was lighted up out of the glory of him. See, now you need to understand the key to understand this stuff. But he cried out in a strong voice, saying, she fell Babylon the Great, and she became a dwelling place of demons and prison of every spirit unclean, and prison of every unclean, bird unclean, and have been hated. But look at this. It says, now who is Babylon? Babylon is America, and Babylon the Great is false Israel. So they both is fallen. See, false Israel is taken out, America's defeated, false Israel laid under siege and taken out. See, it says their desolation is not. So they're in the process of being destroyed. See? And because out of the wine anger of the foundation found fornication of her, having fallen all the nations. See, America goes every place. See, they put themselves as God. They go all over the nation telling everybody how to work, how to do their thing. No matter how peaceful, how prosperous the nation is, they go and start interfering, and they have the demons first go ahead of them. Because you got Chinese demons, you got Asian demons, right? You got all kinds of demons, right? Because there's Master C who sowed his seed amongst them, and their hearts towards Master, and they destabilize these regions. See, so you have riots and marches, everything else, because they really think like Master. See, so. So we talk about, right? Okay, it's talking about America, you know, that's Babylon, right? It says, because out of her, she's being judged now. Because out of the wine of anger, the fornication, she got all the nations in this woke stuff, fornication, abortion, free love, all that kind of stuff. America's opposed that all over the world. If you don't do it, then they crack as a terrorist nation. They find some kind of way to destroy you, right? Sanctions, everything. They might say it's that, but that's what it is. See? And so, and all the nations, if they committed fornications, and the kings of the earth with her committed fornications, and 12 merchants of the earth out of power, out of reign, luxury of her, they became rich. They became rich off of suffering. That's judgment. And this is God. Now, remember, this is God's command. I heard other voices out of heaven saying, come out of you, the people of me, out of her, in order that you should not share together in sins of her, and out of the plagues of her, in order that she should receive. In other words, there's 9 plagues, or Armageddon, European war, because Armageddon is a European war. Right? But God's command said, come out of her. Farrakhan said, we ain't going nowhere. Silas said, we ain't going nowhere. The preacher said, we ain't going nowhere. But God said, he commands you to come out. But they're not telling that. They see all this trouble going on. None of them mention it. See? Why? Because they want you to stay here and they want to freeze your ass. Using a freezer analogy, they want to destroy you. They're going out their way to steal your inheritance. They already stole your humanity. See? They stole your self-respect. They stole your knowledge of history. They stole all that. Now they're trying to steal your future. Trying to steal your future with these fable stuff. Because they know if they was disappeared there tomorrow, they know we wouldn't be able to do anything. We would still all of ourselves confused. It may be 100 years before we could come together and do something significant for ourselves. I'm talking about the demons and this see Abraham together. Both. Why? No, we're not supposed to be together. We're not supposed to be together. But demons, they're master's children, and they're doing master's bidding. But in the end, they're going to master, because master don't want them. And we don't want them. So in the end, they're going to run to master, see, trying to hold a master, trying to get master to go along with them, to accept them, and they're going to finally go to war. That's the locust war, and where they're going to be destroyed. The demons, the master's going to destroy the demons just before he's finished, just before he's destroyed. He's going to destroy the demons just before he's destroyed. See? So again, it's come out here, because you got all these sins. See? And so if you stay here, then you partake of it. That's trying to get you out of here. It says, come out of here. These plagues are going to be severe. If you hear when they come, and it could happen any time now, right? Listen, Farrakhan and those type people, you're going to suffer immensely, and you're going to be deprived of your journey home. See, vengeance. Now, what are they telling you about vengeance? What are they telling you about vengeance? Vengeance, give you back to her as also she have, and double according to the works of her, and a cup where she has mingled you to her, mingled to her double. Or say, give her double she's done to you. As man she glorified herself and lived unreigned in luxury, so much give you to her torment and mourning. Now I say it's kind of quirky because it's transliteral. Because in the heart of her she's saying, I am sitting as queen and widow, I am in mourning, not I should see. Oh, she has no respect for consequence. See, like I said, there's no fear of God before the eyes. There's no sense of consequence. Don't see it when the fire hits them. But it's telling you, give to them. See, you got Farrakhan saying, we can't do them as did to us. That's Farrakhan. That's not what God says. If you go to Farrakhan's, his so-called, what do you call them? It's little classes, I forget what they call them, right? They're not mosques, but study groups. They're really doctrination groups, because what he does, he passes around something he wrote, and you got to quote it. You don't know discussion. You just got to, everybody's read. You read 2 or 3 sentences, and that person read 2 sentences. It's doctrination. Study groups. But he tells you, we can't treat them like they treated us. See? We got to be good. We got to be better than them. All this stuff. We got to be forgiving. They can bring them NOI. See, if bringing NOI, that means to be race missing. And we have Elijah Muhammad specifically saying he doesn't want that. He says he's totally against it. But Farrakhan said, no, we're going to do that. See? But God says, do not forgive them. He said, punish them. Give them double to what they did to you. That's vengeance. That's not what you hear from these preaching stuff. Oh, forgive, forgive, forgive. And the more you forgive Master, the worse he gets. Because you have no defense mechanism against him. So that he can do it, no, he can do whatever you want. Because you're going to forgive. You're going to do whatever Master say do. Love Master. Give Master. Love Master. Do whatever Master say you do. See, if Master love Master no matter what Master does. He beats you with everything, you still must love him. That's it telling you. That's not what God's command is. Says, first it come out of her, and he says, give to her double what she did to you. That's vengeance. He didn't say forgive them twice as much. He said, vengeance. Vengeance is mine, saith the Lord. There will be vengeance executing these people. And it will be worse than you can ever imagine, worse than what they did to us. But they opened the door to it. Hope you understand, brothers and sisters. And I'm going to keep this short, try to get a basic understanding. Here's 9 plagues of Armageddon. Through this in one day will come the plagues of her, death, mourning, and famine, and fire shall be burned down. Because strong Lord God having judged her. So in other words, that one day is 1 year. When that plague starts, it'll take 1 year of these 9 plagues. Death, mourning, and famine is part of it. See? Death, mourning, and famine, right? Death and mourning, that's the invasion of China and India on the west coast of America, Canada. California. Yes, that is. You'll see. You see America once, because you get bogged down in that war, and Europe is going to be so bad, and your allies are going to turn against you, that it's going to destroy most of your armies. Because you're going to have to go all in on that one. See? And then what you're going to do? If you lose it, what you're going to do? Come back and do what? See? So it says, it tells you, get revenge on them. Don't love them, get revenge. It says, come out of her. Farrakhan said, no, that means come out of sin, because he calls us sinful, just like Aaron would do in Genesis. Oh, y'all so sinful. He got busted. Y'all so sinful. But he's pure. He's holy. See. But we're gonna put a stop to that. We're gonna put a screeching stop on him. So he ain't going nowhere. He might look like he's going somewhere. No, he's gonna be around long enough for us to show him what he did and expose him for what he is. Plagues of Armageddon. So you go down here, you can read this. These are plagues. I got a presentation to give you exact symbolism, but you need to know Angel Key to really get the best out of it. 9 plagues of Armageddon. It's coming upon America. 9 plagues. She already experienced the first one, 1619 to 2019. That's the Abrahamic covenant. You'll be enslaved from 1619 to 2019. Farrakhan got busted because he was looking at Kobe's ass back a couple of years ago in the February and didn't mention anything about it. And the virus had hit at the beginning of January. It was on TV and everything. He knew nothing about it, didn't mention anything about it until 7 months later. You know anything about it? You don't know anything about what's going on now. See? And they don't understand who the dragon is, who the beast is. See? They don't understand these things. See? But they understand they want your money. And they give performance every weekend. Make sure you keep that money flowing. They ain't building a damn thing with it. Okay, hope you understand, brothers and sisters. Okay. That's pretty much it. So again, we to do to them double what they did to us. So this is Farrakhan and everything, because that's God's command. Do to them twice what they did to you. Do not forgive them. Because their forgiveness, you allow them to mix, after we separate them out, forgiveness allows them to come back in. We don't want them, no part of them, because they mix with your blood, but they will not have that power in the hereafter, because all that power is being dissolved now with the rise of spring. But for now, they can embrace you with a blizzard, freeze you to death. They can embrace you with snowstorm, right? They can embrace you with icicles, see? And destroy you. That's what it said. They would go out seeking to kill, steal, and destroy. They stole this country, kills off its population, and what's over here? And destroyed us. Hope you understand, brothers and sisters. God's command you one thing, Farrakhan is giving you something else. He claims God's command. Okay, God could have mentioned this before. Elijah Muhammad didn't know his command. He spoke to him directly. You're a second-hand person. If you had to wait another week, right? Well, we did that long. See. You're in trouble, brothers and sisters. The whole idea, the whole objective is to destroy your vision, to keep you moving into the hereafter. The promised land that's yours, is your inheritance. It's deep in topsoil. It's beautiful underneath. Once that sand's removed, they're trying to rip you off, brothers and sisters. They've done everything else. Now they don't want you to go in, because if you go in and you take rulership, they'll be under your rulership. See? And you command not to give them any mercy to them. See? Hope you understand, brothers and sisters. Like I said, I'm not going to spend much time with this. I'm trying to give you the basic idea. You can go and check this stuff out. Open your eyes. Take the fog glass off. Start asking questions. When they come to you, tell them, prove it. They can't prove it, tell them, get out your face. You'll start a deprogramming process. Once you start a deprogramming process, you're going to find you a new person, because you haven't known yourself for the last 400 years. A deprogramming process. We ask you to come over here, and we don't ask you to do anything. We're just trying to give you information. Now, if you want to save yourself, it's up to you. We have the key. We have the book. You can't get to the Father except by me. So you might not like that or whatever, but your preachers tell you that, and you jump up and down, you give them everything you got. We don't want your money. We haven't asked for anything. It's a free gift. We just pass information. And those of you who some understand this information, you have a duty to pass it on to other rest of our people. You have a duty to do that. See? Or their blood is on your hands. Hope you understand, brothers and sisters. See? Winter is over. It's springtime now. But we're going through a spring thaw. Are you going to make it through the spring thaw? See? Because when during the spring thaw, the winter and the summer is mixed together. Winter and spring is mixed together. And they're the personification of winter. So, they grab you, make love to you, hold you. See? Got a snow blizzard. See? Got icicles, whatever. And they freeze you to death. You don't make it through the spring. So you didn't make it through the spring thaw. Because they're not going to make it. They're hedging their bets. They made themselves as hard as they could, hard ice they could. See, maybe they could survive into the spring, maybe halfway through the spring, maybe part. Because some ice is so hard that it doesn't melt right away. It's melting, but you don't see the difference right away. It may take a week or 2 or 3 weeks before it totally melts, before spring comes in whole. Hope you understand, brothers and sisters. When spring thaw, winter's over. You don't have to suffer. You got your God's here. He's going to make his move shortly. It says he didn't make his move. He told Jonah he didn't make his move back then because there was 120,000 didn't know the right hand from the left. He wanted to give him a chance to straighten it out. And maybe that's what's going on now, because I don't see anything standing in the way between now and that war, right? with Michael's angels go against the dragon and his angels. I don't see nothing, any prophecy standing in the way between those two things. So from my point of view, it can happen any time. From my point of view. But Master Father Muhammad, he's the one who holds the cards. See, I'm just dealing. I'm trying to get the information to you, brothers and sisters. You got a vision, take it. You got a great reward coming, take it. Because they have a reward, and they won't be around much longer. Those civilizations is melting. So his wife had to go and get some more ice. See? Had to get some more ice. Keep them cool them off, because they're melting. See? They grab hold of you. Oh, come on, bro. We're your bro now. Give me 5. Nope. Pound, right? Oh man, I got all these white friends and everything now. They love me so much. Okay? It says, come out of her, my people. That's God's command. Come out of her, my people. And reward her double as she has rewarded you. That's God's command. Now you want to listen to Farrakhan and Wallace and all these clowns? Have at it. But we're out of here. Like I said, no one knows the time, a date, an hour, but Master Father Muhammad. See? It just said no one knew the year. See, he knew the exact time. But my calculation puts right here in 2020. That's my calculation. See? Now I could be wrong. See? But winter's over. And I think all the remnants of winter will be burned out before fall. I think it's going to be burned out actually before that. But the war's going to ignite. See? The sun's risen. And the sun is the enemy of winter, enemy of ice. Sun started rising in 1948. And now they're melting. While they're melting, we've been thawed out. So we're rising, and they're being dissolved. See? Hope you understand, brothers and sisters. I'm going to leave it there. So hold on here. Let's go and, okay, to my audience. This is the Black Alert segment of Fire Zone. Fire Zone out. And to my video, brothers and sisters, hope you understand, brothers and sisters. Winter's over. In spring thaw, they'll be deceived by these people. See? They're winter people. And now they want to be, because when spring thaw comes, it means ice, and the spring people and ice people are mixed together. See, but spring people are being thawed out. Because they was frozen during the ice. They was frozen during the winter. They've been thawed out. Because the sun is risen. So the spring people are being thawed out because they was frozen during the winter. But the winter people, they're being dissolved. See, they're melting. So one is thawing out and one is melting. That's happening, brothers and sisters. And the hardcore hard, the ones that's really extremely hard ice, they're trying to hold on as long as they can under that intense heat of the sun, which is truth, because they can't withstand truth. But they've been so hard, they figure they could make it through as far as they can. If they can't go all the way, right, then they're taking freeze as many of us as they can. Oh, come over here, be my boyfriend, be my girlfriend. See, come on, we can be together, man. See, I mean, we ain't racist. See, and you embracing them. And their embrace is heart freezing. The embrace is icy, right? The embrace will give you what do you call it? What do you call it? Frostbite will destroy you, will freeze you alive. Hope you understand, brothers and sisters. Trying to make it simple for you. Assalamu alaikum.